All right, StreamYard says we are live, so good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of This Week Unloaded. So far with us tonight, we have Mr. Rob D, the New York Outcast. How are you tonight?
Doing well. Thanks for having me. And thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yep. And then next we have Mr. Squibload. How are you tonight, Squibby?
Doing pretty good. Thanks for having me on 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, no problem. And you guys remember we talked about it a little bit before we went off the air. There is a crazy psychiatrist running around New York City who needs a psychiatrist of her own. So let me get this where I'm sharing so everybody can see what we're talking about. Yeah. You guys seeing this?
Yep.
Yeah. You see that headline? New York shrink tells Yale audience she fantasizes about shooting white people in head. Dr. Aruna Kalyanani spewed the race-hating virtual comment remarks at the Ivy League institution's Child Safety Center on April 6th. The story comes from Samuel Chamberlain from the New York Post via Fox News. A New York City-based psychiatrist told an audience at the Yale School of Medicine in April that she had fantasies of unloading a revolver into the head of any white person that got in my way. Dr. Aruna Kelanani spewed the race-hating virtual remarks in which she also said she'd walk away from the shooting with a bounce in my step and that white people make my blood boil and are out of their minds and have been for a long time at the Ivy League Institution's Child Study Center on April 6th. Audio of the sixth, audio of the sixth, audio of the talk was posted on the Substack online platform of former New York Times opinion writer and editor Barry Weiss on Friday, along with an interview of the idiot. I'm not even going to try to pronounce her name anymore. Conducted by writer and producer Katie Herzog. Oh, by the way, the one that um, posted the audio has been fired by the New York Times as well. And that came out yesterday evening or this morning. I forget when. But yeah, the woman who released that was fired. A flyer promoting the talk and posted online by Weiss titled the lecture The Psychopathic Problem of the White Mind and included learning objectives such as set up white people's absence of empathy towards black rage as a problem and understand how white people are psychologically dependent on black rage. The idiot opened her remarks by telling the audience, I'm going to say a lot of things and will probably provoke a lot of responses, and I want you to just maybe observe them in yourself. She then added prayers up for DMX before discussing what she described as the intense rage and futility people of color purportedly feel when talking to white people about racism. We are calm, we are giving, too giving, and then when we get angry, they use our responses as confirmation that we're crazy or have emotional problems, she said. It always ends that way, happens every time, like a goddamn timer. You can count it down. Nothing makes me angrier than a white person who tells me not to be angry because they have not seen real anger yet, she said, before talking about how she systematically cut off most of her former white friends around 5 years ago. I stopped watching the news, she continued. Once I started, I couldn't stop. It was also a public service, she said. I had fantasies of unloading a revolver into the head of any white person who got in my way, burying their body and wiping my bloody hands as I walked away, relatively guiltless with a bounce in my step, like I did the world a big fucking favor. Later in the talk, she claimed that conversing with white people about racial issues was useless because they are on the wrong level of conversation. White people are out of their minds, and they have been for a long time. White people feel that we are bullying them when we bring up race, she said. They feel that we should be thanking them for all that they have done for us. They are confused, and so are we. We keep forgetting that directly talking about race is a waste of our breath. We are asking a demented, violent predator who thinks that they are a saint or a superhero to accept responsibility. It ain't gonna happen. They have 5 holes in their brain. It's like banging your head against a brick wall. Meanwhile, here's her picture. So, yeah. I think we'll stop there because I think we got the point across on this article. And as you guys can see, she clearly is not a black woman either. But, with her rant, you would think she was, right? But no, she's actually Middle Easternish. She is the daughter of Pakistani immigrants to the U.S. who were also doctors, by the way. So, what do you guys think about that one?
Okay, wait a minute. Wait. She's not black, but she's saying all this.
Uh-huh.
So she identifies as black.
No, she just identifies as somebody of color because she's of Pakistani descent.
Yeah, but nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, okay, from the standpoint of, look, I am not saying that you can't say something about an ethnicity that you're not a part of, but what you're saying may come off as ignorant or may actually be ignorant because you don't have that background. But it's not that you don't have a right to an opinion, okay? But I guess this is one of those situations. So from that standpoint, I'm interested to know what her ethnicity is. Beyond that, I really don't care about ethnicity unless I'm going to give you a hard time or I'm trying to identify your body after the fact. So was it virtue signaling or something?
Oh, it gets better. You want to know what her speciality is in? Transsexual transitioning therapy.
I mean, I would think that you would need therapy if you were considering getting surgery, but that's just me.
No, she's one of the doctors that when people are going to transition, they have to go and talk to first, and she basically rubber stamps it.
So she's woke, yo.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, I don't know. It sounds like, I don't know. Sure, people can have crazy thoughts through their mind, but is that something you print out there or put something? And then to think like her, it seems nuts because, in my opinion, she ain't black. So why are you trying to speak for somebody else? I don't know. It's just ridiculous. I think personally, 100% ridiculous. So I think she's probably has some other mental thing going on, whether she's a psychiatrist or not, personally.
Yeah, and if we would have kept reading in the article, I just was getting tired of reading it, and my eyes are bugging me a little, so I didn't want to keep reading it. But I read the full article yesterday morning before Travis's show, and she's pissed off at the school because they told her that they were going to print the transcript of that publicly, and they didn't do it because the dean of that part of the school was like, no, we're not putting that online. They still have it in the school stores where students can go and read it, but there's reasons why you would do that for different things for research study purposes and whatnot. I mean, there's I could think of multiple different articles and studies that showing the insanity of some people that could be used for. But yeah, she emailed the dean and asked him why he didn't print that public, and he's like, yeah, I see a lot of issues with this where we should not make this publicly. He's like, what if you were to substitute Asian or Jewish for white people? And she's like, that's a false narrative. That's a false equivalency. You're a racist. And she starts going off on this guy in the response emails because the reporter that released the
Well, of course, that's what they do. As soon as you disagree, you're instantly a racist.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what she did. If you read the email that she sent him back after he emailed her back that he thinks it's bothersome, the what she was saying and everything, that yeah, she goes ballistic in the email. She just loses her mind. It's absolutely this woman has serious issues, and she's treating other people for their mental issues. This woman needs help. And the dean was absolutely right. If a white person went and made the same remarks that she did in regards to a black person, a Jewish person, an Asian person, they wouldn't be permitted to give a speech anywhere ever again. It's the double standard there. You know what I mean? Kingpin says racism is the weapon of the weak. Yeah.
This shouldn't even qualify as news because we already know there's a large segment of the population that's just batshit crazy. So that's not news.
No, that part's not news. The fact that this is a woman who is supposed to be out there treating other people for their mental defects is saying if she wants to go out there and shoot people in the head with a revolver is the issue. That's like, whoa, hold on, lady. And that she's being permitted to say this stuff on college campuses in front of students. Well, she did it virtually because, COVID, but she's given these kinds of speeches before. This isn't the first time she's gone off the rails. And she just is allowed to say whatever she wants. Makes it even more troubling is if you know the history of Pakistan and the prominent religion in Pakistan. That makes it good too. You know, it's just it's total insanity. That's what it is.
Yeah. The crazies become normal.
Oh yeah.
It's like almost getting to the point in some places. It's it's probably cheaper to be a criminal because even if you get caught, you don't get in any trouble, and they just let you go any damn way. So why pay to do things right?
Yeah, I heard she's a psychiatrist whose job is to tell crazy people that they're perfectly normal.
Yeah, won't be long. And next thing you know, we'll have Soylent Green bars for sale.
So, you got any other comments you want to make on this one, Squib? Or
Here's the thing. They're giving this person a platform to say this stuff. They're given when the people with the most wealth and power and authority and fame and all these other things let enough of this happen to push their agenda to make money on the short term and all this. At some point, don't they see the writing on the wall that this will feed on itself? Let's just say all of us, the people on the other side with half a brain who can think for ourselves and just want some peace and liberty, we're all gone tomorrow. And all of these people were left without us there to do all the work, without us there to protect the country, without us there to bring some sort of order to their chaos. They would literally feed on each other or capitulate. And then somebody would just move in and take over this place. I don't think that they realize I guess it goes back to that. What would I say last time, Outcast, about the not seeing the forest for the trees? You had to help me out with that one because I couldn't remember. But I just don't think that they can see that, right?
No, I don't think they can.
I agree. I mean, well, I don't know. It seems like I don't know how you couldn't see it, but maybe they think they can tailor it in a manner. I don't know, but yeah, when you're holding on to a tiger, it's kind of hard to let go, I guess.
Yeah, Zippy out there asks, how many white people arbitrarily walk up to blacks and start a conversation in racism? I haven't seen it personally myself, but I have seen where like conservative people are at, like say California, doing their where they're walking around the crowds at different events and stuff, and they're just asking them questions, and they'll have these white college professors or somebody else walk up to them and just start arguing with them about racism out of the middle of nowhere. It's like, what are you talking about? Go away. And they do it I've seen them do it. There was this one black conservative guy who was doing one of those with Austin Fletcher from Fleckus Talks, and this college professor gets in his face arguing. White college female professor gets in the black dude's face and starts arguing with him about what's racist and what isn't. It's like, what the hell are you talking about, lady? He just had a look on his face like, this woman's crazy. Kingpin says Amy Horowitz, however you spell it, does it on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, these people are nuts, man. They will argue with a black person about how oppressed the black person should feel because her people have oppressed them their whole life.
Okay, I just went over to the chat to read it. I don't always do that, even when I'm at a computer like tonight. So Kingpin says that, the left will destroy itself, and we are stuck in the middle and have to clean up after. Yeah, we do have to clean up after them. But in the process of the left destroying itself, there is the potential that they'll take us with them. And that's something that I'm fighting against, I guess you could say. I don't think fighting necessarily means that you have to go to extremes. And I think there's a smart way to do it. You know, I come onto social media here and I speak my opinion. I make my videos and I speak my opinion. When somebody starts a conversation with me in a neutral location, if I feel that the time and place is right, I will reciprocate, right? And speak my mind. However, I'm smart enough to know not to talk about this crap at my job, right? There are other times where it's just not a good time or place. And it's not out of cowardice, it's out of common sense. I would like to live somewhere where we could do and say whatever we want as long as it truly doesn't affect somebody else. But the way our society has gotten and the way things have been blown out of proportion, if you put yourself in a place where it could potentially be used against you, it might be. I mean, don't get me wrong. If somebody says something, I want to be able to tell them to go F themselves in public. Or if it gets to something physical, if they make the first move, they're the ones that should be going to jail because they started it. I don't start them, but I damn well finish them. But the way it really is, you know, for us, we have to try to avoid conflict. We have to, in some cases, try to find a way not to go to the extreme of physical force to defend ourselves. I'm not saying never use it, but it's not like the old days where, you know, two people had a fist fight, they were over it, and the next day everything was fine and stuff like that. And the other side preaches equality, but they silence us every chance they get. And when they're in a position of power, they abuse that power. If a conservative is in a position of power and they have a liberal working for them, they might tell them what they think, but they're not going to fire them over it. If a liberal's in power and they know you're a conservative, they will outright fire you even if you've done nothing wrong. And if you're in a state like mine where they're an at-will employer, they don't need a reason. I don't mind that being the condition here in our state. I really don't. If I didn't like it, I'd leave. All right. But that it has an advantage, but they take that and use it against somebody like me. So I guess I'm pragmatic about it. And this platform and, is one of the ways that I choose to fight back.
Yeah, just stop and think about it for a second. What you were just saying about the at-will state. If it can happen to a deputy sheriff who is a captain on the department in a county in Alabama, because this guy is also a state rep who was sponsoring their constitutional carry bill, it can happen to you too.
I made a comment on that. So the Guns and Gadgets did his thing on that. And of course, as usual, I misspelled shit. And oh my God, it turned out to be a big ordeal. It was hilarious. But ended up getting like 200 likes on it, though, or something close to that. It's pretty funny. But man, people take things way down. I don't know. I don't know. People get too wrapped up into some of this stuff.
Oh yeah. You'll get the language Nazis. So that's to be expected. It's like just ignore them people. It's like on the Professor Rock channel, we were having a discussion because he did a video on the Eagles. And somebody goes in the comment section and says, we're all wrong. It's just Eagles. It's not the Eagles. And blah, 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 blah. And people are trying to tell him, no, it's this. No, man, it's the Eagles. He's like, no, it's Eagles. They never put the in front of their name. So I got pissed off. I got tired of it, right? So I put out there the dictionary.com and all this other stuff to show exactly why this guy's wrong. And he still insists that nope, it's just the Eagle. It's just Eagles. You don't put a the in front of it. It's like, no, you put the in front of it because it's a plural word. It's a plural noun. If you were talking about a solo eagle, then you could get away with it. You're talking about, or if you were talking eagles in general, like if you were to say eagles are a majestic bird, but if you were talking about a specific group, the eagles over there, you have to put the. You don't just say eagles over there. You know what I mean? So people are stupid, man. that's the gist of that. People are just stupid.
It seems though that the stupid people, the ignorant people, the destructive people seem to get away with stuff, and the people that try to be lawful and courageous and try to set the example, be patriots. I mean, they're the ones that seem to get penalized.
Well, apparently, midnight's going on and about the rally tomorrow in Harrisburg. So yeah, there's a rally in Harrisburg tomorrow, guys. So yeah, if you're in the area and you're able to go there, show support for them. And yeah, all that good stuff. So there you go, Midnight. Your rally was talked about. So,
any idea what it's for?
Isn't it coming up on their yearly one that they normally do run, where they have their rally and they talk to their
the one that doesn't fall on the same date every year, the one that's organized by different state organizations every year, the one that's never advertised in advance every year. Yeah, that one. And if you live in Harrisburg, but you never go anywhere else, it's a great rally to go to. But for some of us, it's a 9-hour one-way drive.
Midnight says you have to look at his Instagram, Squib.
I don't need Instagram.
Yeah, G23.
If I
If you
did, I
want
wouldn't follow Midnight Range.
G23, if you want to get there, man, you better go and get on that airplane like right now if you want to make it in time. I mean, Oregon to PA is a long flight because you're at to fly into like Pittsburgh probably, and then drive from there to Harrisburg.
Harrisburg has got an airport.
Yeah, but it'd be cheaper to fly into Pittsburgh.
Midnight get his restaurant open.
I don't know. Ask him. He's out there. Guess Wiblo doesn't want to see any cool marine stuff. Too bad.
I can't see the chat to ask him.
Yeah.
But
well, you can ask him. I mean, I can tell you what he answers, but
I'm just gonna say this: if I see you in Lansing or Columbus, I'll owe you one, or we'll be even.
yeah. G23 is saying next month, so I guess G23 is now the spokesman for Midnight.
can't even go there and get some decent food if we go. What the hell?
Yeah, see, that's the only way Outcast is going to go to any of this stuff. If he can stuff his face, with a not salad, then yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's going to go.
I had a double salad last night. Double salad because I got two sides. I was just like, just give me two salads. Yeah.
You're going to go and get one of Midnight's pizzas. That's what you're going to get. It's always pizza and steak with you. Come on, man. We know the truth.
I wanted cucumber salad for dinner tonight, but it didn't work out because company showed up right as I was getting ready to leave, and on a motorcycle, so they blocked the driveway, and I had to play musical cars two at the same time, and it turned out to be an ordeal. But no, I mean not a major ordeal, but just unexpected. So instead of getting what I wanted, we settled on pizza for a group thing to hang out back and eat. So yeah, pizza. I got stuck with pizza tonight, but I'm getting a little pizza out lately. Good cucumber salad, pepperonis, all the veggies in there, celery. Oh man, it's good stuff. That's what I was craving. Didn't get it though. Damn company.
Midnight says cucumber salad. Insert Kingpin joke here. You mean about Kingpin not eating the salad? He'd pick out everything and just have an empty bowl.
Yeah, I don't know. Guys are missing out. It also makes a good light dinner. Especially, real hot out. Don't feel like dealing with anything heavy or anything like that. It's nice.
Yeah, but we used to get these. I know that's not what he meant, Kingpin. I was trying to clean it up. we all know where Midnight's mind goes.
Yeah. You come up with a lot of different combinations with those couple words.
Yeah, hot days, man. Salad actually is not bad. If you get some like meat and put it in there, like fried chicken or something, yeah, you put that in the salad with some ranch dressing or whatever your favorite dressing is, or maybe some leftover steak from like the night before. Chop that up and put it in there. It's not bad. Especially if you don't want to heat the house up by turning the oven on or anything.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we enjoy it quite often, obviously, but going for my third popsicle now. Red, white, and blue, baby.
My wife got these alcoholic freezy pops, you know, like the ones that come in like the plastic sleeve, but these are like more an aluminum type sleeve.
Yep.
She's been eating those things when she gets home from work because she's so pissed off. Sometimes she'll eat one of those before she does anything else. It's like instead of a glass of wine, like some women do, she comes home and she grabs one of those. She says they're not too bad. I don't know what alcohol they have in them. I don't know if they make them with wine or what it is, but they're in the wine section at Walmart where they have all the wines and beer and stuff.
Got offered some of those Memorial Day, but I passed because, I had to drive. So yeah, I don't go places and drink the afternoon away and then drive home because that's not good.
Yeah, that's not a good idea. And Bernie says he's going to go sit there with his blanket and take pictures. And he said something about the Alamo above, so I'm guessing he's talking about the Alamo. So at the Alamo, and take pictures, I guess. And G23 said he had a salad, macaroni salad. Is that so? Salads talk like James Bond now. Is that what's going on there? Maybe salad, macaroni salad. Yeah. What else do we want to talk
That's
about?
not real salad.
You know, my wife loves macaroni salads. I can't stand macaroni salad.
It's not a real salad, though. I don't know how that falls under salad. Like, this is probably a midnight show question or debate or something. But yeah, there's not enough veggies in there to qualify as a salad, in my opinion. I don't know.
Depends on who makes it. Like my wife, she'll put like radishes and onion and celery, and she'll dice up some spinach leaves and put that in there. And yeah, it's not. I don't like macaroni salad to begin with, and I damn sure don't want to eat that.
What do you think, Swib? Think it should really be a salad or termed a salad like that?
Yeah,
What's
sure.
the veggie ratio?
It doesn't have to have veggies in it per se to be a salad.
Well, they have fruit salads. I get that, but that's a total different base, I guess. It's not pasta and mayonnaise.
Look, there are people out there that need to lose weight and just plain won't. And then there's people out there that are terrified they're going to gain weight and just won't. So whatever kind of salad you want to shove down your throat, go right ahead.
Yeah, G23 out there says he doesn't like tossing salad. I mean, he doesn't like tossed salad. Excuse me. Yeah, if it was the former, it just means that he's not into the whole gay pride month thing. Which, don't even get me started on that bullshit.
So when are you guys gonna have a White Pride Month parade and stuff?
Oh, they did that last year, or was that the year before? They had that straight. That was straight pride.
That's just it. I think there's, certain people of different backgrounds that don't feel the need to have a pride parade because they're not victimizing themselves. They're not claiming they need special treatment because they're a minority or they've been the victim of some sort of hate speech or hate crime or whatever, because they've got better things to do with their life. get a job, raise a family, have some goals. I don't think that any one particular group needs to don't get me wrong. You might go, well, you guys do two-way rallies. We're bringing attention to something that needs attention. So I can understand having some of these things in order to bring attention to something. But there's a certain point where people go, okay, we'll stop doing this, or okay, we'll recognize this. And at that point, you can just let it go. If tomorrow something happened, the Supreme Court said, Second Amendment means what it says, hands off. If you're in politics or law enforcement and you violate the Second Amendment, you will be incarcerated for life, period. End of story. No questions asked. We'd stop having rallies. Seriously, we would. We wouldn't be talking about gun rights in these shows. We'd just be talking about cool gun stuff on these shows. So, I wouldn't, the NRA and the GOA and all that, they'd all kind of dry up and disappear overnight. That's why they're not interested in us getting all of our rights back, no matter what they claim or how many people swallow their lies. Okay. So when it's gotten to a point where somebody of a certain background somehow has more privilege than another because they've been crying foul when there either never was a foul or maybe there was, but we've moved past that as society, and they're continuing to use that as a crutch. That's where I don't support it.
Yeah, and maybe it's just me, but being a sexual deviant isn't necessarily something to be proud of in the first place. So, yeah, that's my take on it. And if you're going to have putting on a parade and saying that it's for pride, and then just having a bunch of guys walking around in assless chaps and do simulate sexual things, it's also not somewhere where you want to take your goddamn children, you fucking freaks. You know what I mean? It's disturbing that there are people that actually think these events now are family affairs and it's okay to take your small children to. What is wrong with people? I don't know.
So wait a minute. If you're gay, you can just walk around basically almost naked with your butt cheeks and everything hanging out, but I assume that's like indecent indecent exposure if you're not. Is that correct?
Yeah. Have you ever seen the video from one of these gay pride parades? That's what they do. And they have floats where they're simulating sexual gay sex on these floats and shit. It's like, and people are taking their kids to watch this shit. It's absolutely disgusting.
So if you ever get caught without your pants on, just say you're gay and it's cool.
Well, apparently.
I know you're making a joke, but that's kind of where it's gone, right? All right. You screw off at work, you steal from the company, you show up late, you violate company policies, and they pull you to the side and they say, look, we've talked to you about this. You continue to do it. We're going to have to terminate you. Oh, you're just doing it because of my skin color. Or you're just doing it because of my sexual orientation. Or you're just doing it because I'm an immigrant from this country. Or you're just doing it because of my sex. Or you're just doing it. That's where somebody's leaning on a crutch. They really are. Now, I'm not saying that from time to time somebody in power doesn't abuse it. But in my experience, it's been these leftards that abuse it. Oh, we don't agree. No, you haven't done anything wrong, but I'm going to make damn sure you get railroaded out of here. So... Yeah. It's when they suddenly have to go, okay, don't sue us. You can keep your job. And they just keep coming in late and stealing from the company and doing this and doing that. And they let them get away with it. I've seen it. Okay. I've actually seen somebody get promoted because they were afraid that she was going to sue for discrimination and they were just trying to keep her quiet. And that just made it worse once she got promoted. So when somebody in that group does that, they're proving the stereotype, or they're proving the, I guess, you know, how maybe they're looked at as dumber or weaker or lazier or whatever it is, that whatever this racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, whatever the hell it was from the past, they are behaving exactly the way people used to think people like this were. We got past that as a society, as a country, and said, okay, we were wrong to be bigoted in the past. We were wrong to have this, approach in the past. We're past that. And they go, oh no, that's not good enough. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and act like that, and I'm going to get away with it, and I'm going to use it to my advantage. You're worse than the people that used to be bigoted against you. You are worse than them, and there's nobody or there's very few people in any position of authority that are able to stand up to these people. And maybe it's for the same reason that I don't run around work going, speaking my mind. It's because of the fact that we've been put in a position where, do you want to feed your family or do you want to do the right thing? And it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, there was an episode of Law and Order back when Fred Thompson was still the DA. Remember Fred Thompson, the guy that ran for president? Where they had the blonde female attorney, whose name I can't remember what her name on the show was. My wife would probably know. She was a huge Law and Order fan until they got to like the last few seasons and it went to shit. But she did something. It was like the season finale, and he fires her for what she did. And all of a sudden, I know her, and she said, "It's because I'm a lesbian, right?" Nowhere in the history of the show, when she was on there, did they ever, in any way, shape, or form, have her be a lesbian. She had boyfriends on the show before that they were talking about and shit. All of a sudden, the episode where they're firing her, all of a sudden, she's a lesbian. It's like, where the fuck did that come from? But it was exactly what you're talking about, Squid. But all of a sudden, she tried using that. Her character tried using that out of getting fired. That she was a lesbian, so that's why you're firing me. And he's like, no, I'm firing you because you're incompetent and you almost cost this office millions of dollars. Get out of my office.
And I think that people learn this stuff from lawyers who found these progressive liberal ideas, these progressive liberal values, to find a way to use them to their advantage in the courtroom. I also think people get this from their parents, in particular their moms, who are the ones who started this whole participation trophy kind of generation. This whole parents need to be the kids' friends, not their parents, that my kid can do no wrong, even when I actually watch them commit a crime with my own eyes and everything else. And I think this sort of behavior in our society has perpetuated this, and it can destroy people. Why should you lose your job? Because when they have to cut heads, they go, well, you've been with the company longer and you can do more things and you've got an excellent record here, but this person is gay. And if we fire them, even though they haven't been here as long, they don't know as many things as you, and they definitely have things in their personnel file that you don't have because of things, misconduct at work, but they'll sue us and we know you won't. You understand, don't you? Yeah. How is that right? How is that right? But that's exactly what happens in companies.
Yeah, real quick, I want to say hello to Snake Doctor 78 out there. He said he came over, again, I'm guessing from over on Scotsman's chat. Kingpin put the link out over there, so thank you to Kingpin for putting the link to the show over there on Scotsman's chat. And I want to say hello to Echo. He's out there too, so evening, Echo. I'd send you a link. I don't have your email. Do you have his email, Squid?
No, my daughter almost got pegged to be a racist at work. But she's a manager, so if you're not doing your job, it's kind of her job to get on your ass about shit. But apparently there was one girl, probably a couple years older than her, but that just sat on her phone, take her shoes off, and just lounge around in the store, and all types of just not normal work stuff, and basically be on the phone and tell customers to hold on until she's finished with her phone call, personal stuff, and anything it seemed like even 10 years ago you would have been on your ass that day, but the company is scared to fire. They wouldn't let her fire her because she's already tried, and so anytime that she had her on a shift, and whenever she did something, she'd tell her try to correct it, and as soon as it was an issue, she'd just send her home, because that's as far as the company would allow her to do. So basically the girl kept getting sent home and tried to turn in that my daughter was like a racist. So it was kind of funny because I just out of coincidence came into her store for something, and they realized I was her dad, and then now they've never heard a thing about it. Now she's just mean. So, but you can keep your job with mean, I guess. It's just pretty damn sad the way things go. Yeah, you literally like the example of a shit employee, and then they just switch it to race. So just the same conversations like we're having here. It's just amazing, that companies deal with that. So I know me or whatever, if I'm dealing with somebody hiring, I'm not dealing with any of that shit. So whatever. Yeah. I don't care. Either you can do the job or you can't. So that's just that simple.
Yeah, you get these people that they'll yell racism up the wall, and then they use that to make themselves a protected class. It's crazy.
And I don't need somebody that struggles. I need somebody that can do the job. That's why I hire somebody, not to babysit.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care if my employer gets a tax break for hiring me because I'm a veteran, but veterans in some cases are considered a protected class. And I have never had that benefit me at a job, either applying for a job, interviewing for a job, or while I was at the job. It's like if somebody wanted to say something against me and they were fill in the blank, I couldn't come back with, well, I'm protected too because of my military service. That's one thing they don't give a shit about. That's why when somebody says thank you for your service, I usually, if I don't know them personally, I usually want to tell them to go fuck themselves, because that's the same person that'll go, oh yeah, but yeah, you don't count. Not that I'm asking for anything special, but I'm not. But it's the whole thing of, if you want to play that game, we can go there. Oh, my protected status doesn't matter, but yours does because you have tits. Nice.
Yeah. Or you're protected status because you think you should, but you don't, because you have something else that women don't have, because you're not really a woman. Yeah. It's we are literally living in upside down world. It's Bizarro world. Remember the Super Friends where they would go to Bizarro world and it would be a bunch of Bizarros running around? That's where we're at right now. Somehow we've all been transferred from Earth to Bizarro world. Kingpin says, hey, if you want to see white privilege, just look at Jason Stewart. He gets to work 7K hours a week. Yeah, he has to work so much. That's why he's not here right now, because he got home from work and he was so exhausted because he's constantly working that he went right to bed.
That's totally different. Jason's got an addiction. Okay, he's unfortunately an addict, and he's got serious problems. The guy, he can't walk by a Beretta without at least making an offer. So,
well, it depends on what Beretta.
Yeah, it's not a color thing. It's a addict thing. Sorry, I don't know what's going on in the other room. Sorry about that laughing in the background.
Yeah. No, see, it's got to be a certain Beretta. It's only 92s. He said last night if he walked by like a BM 59 or maybe he wouldn't get it, but he might get a Beretta shotgun, but it has to be a certain shotgun. But the only one he's really addicted to is the 92 and its variations.
Like if he went to jail for a month, he would probably save money.
Kingpin says it's not somehow. We watched it happen and nothing because of reasons. Well, I don't mean we don't know what happened. I mean we don't know what technology they used. Is what I meant somehow. You know, I'm not sure what technology they used, but that's how we got there. It's not the fact that we got there that somehow it's the mechanism. You know what? Did they use a transporter or some shit? You know that's what I meant by that. Star Trek transporter. That's what it is. Bizarro World would have to be within our solar system, right? I mean, it didn't take them long to get there when they traveled there on Super Friends. So the Star Trek transporter would work. It's the only time they ever got the damn thing to work, though. And they did it when everybody was asleep, so nobody would know that we were transferred. Bernie says the hall monitors grew up and started turning the world upside down. Just his opinion. Yeah, participation trophies.
Nation's been pussified.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bernie says, who remembers when they started handing out participation trophies? Yeah, that happened when my younger brothers were playing sports. They started handing out participation trophies. Whenever my kids got one, I told them flat out that participation trophy doesn't mean a goddamn thing. You got yourself a trophy-looking paperweight. That trophy isn't for anything. You didn't do anything to earn that trophy. I flat out told them I wasn't playing games. My wife got all pissed off. She's like, you're making light of what they. No, I'm telling them the fucking truth that trophy doesn't mean a goddamn thing because they did nothing to earn it. You know, we've had that discussion before about the participation trophies. There's Gary. How's the moving going, Gary? You guys get everything situated? What is this? He wants to know. Gary always is slow to figure out what the show is. So we gotta give him time. Talking about the older people earlier with Rick, I mean Gary falls into that category too. So we gotta give him a little bit of time to figure out where he's at. Not as bad as Joe Biden. Speaking of that, they were talking on. He says he's on his cell phone, doesn't have internet yet. Well, you can use your cell phone to, tether it to your computer, either wirelessly or wired. Well, you know this. You're an IT guy, but you can use your phone as a wireless access point for your computer. So, hell, sometimes the damn phone internet, if you got 5G, is faster than goddamn standard internet. It's sad but true. But,
All my stuff's on the phone. Usually works well, no problems. Usually, battery life. Speaking of, I got a swap right now.
yeah, that's why that's why mine is plugged in if I'm using it for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm always multitasking.
Gary's got one of those data plans. See, that's it. I got unlimited data, so that doesn't bother me. See, you can get there and load it, unlimited data there, Gary, and you don't have that problem. See?
Even my cheap ass has unlimited data. What's going on here?
Yeah, who pays for data these days? Crying out loud. What the hell was I getting ready to talk about before? Somehow we went off to the sidetrack. Oh, yeah, with Biden. See where he's wanting to shut down the Alaskan pipeline now? We were talking about that on Scotsman's show earlier. You gotta be kidding me. This douchebag just wants to fuck the whole country. So, what do you guys think about that one? Biden shutting down the Alaskan pipeline.
Well, this is going to be one of those scenarios where I think it'll get challenged and fought, but it's just going to cause people to use it as an excuse to raise the cost of fuel or plastics or whatever they want to tie to it. It's another one of those things where the politician can say it. Will they actually do it? If they do it, will it actually happen right away? I mean, almost anything today is an excuse to raise the cost of something.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't surprise me. Oh, go ahead, bro.
I was just saying, I think it's a bunch of crap, personally. From what I heard, he got caught with some bribes, and that's why he left that one open for so long, which I think is almost perfect in a manner, because then, he probably duped people out of money, and now, oops, I got busted, so I got to shut that one down too, which was the plan any damn way. So now he just got paid to do what he was trying to do to begin with, most likely. It's alleged or whatever, I don't know. But wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I think it's a damn shame. I personally think we should be pretty much self-sufficient. I think that's, ideally the best way you could do a household, the best way you could do anything, self-sufficient in a sense. So I don't know why we're going to be, limiting things or, ruining any money on our end, in a sense.
Gary says if he upgrades to unlimited, he loses his 22% company discount. That sucks. Going back to the topic, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time Biden's shut down a pipeline. He shut down the one that they were still in the process of building. Can't remember what the hell the name of the damn thing is right now. But the one that was going through the Indian territories, and the Indians are suing him for shutting it down and all this. You guys know what pipeline I'm talking about. I can't remember the goddamn name of it. But yeah, now
what you're speaking of, but I can't think of it now either.
Yeah. Keystone, thanks, G23. It was G23 through that. There's Keystone Pipeline. Yeah. So,
I thought that was a pipeline to bring beer across the country.
Oh no, he would be perfectly fine with that one if that were the case.
Keystone or Keystone Light.
Mm. Yeah.
I just looked over the chat. See, G23 is thinking the same thing.
I saw that too. I was about to say that he agreed. You beat me to it. Yeah. No, he says Keystone Ice. Yeah, Keystone Ice might freeze in the pipe. That might not be a good thing. Or would you put Prestone in the Keystone Ice to keep it from freezing? But then you wouldn't be able to drink it. Echoes here.
What is going on, gentlemen?
Evening. Good evening. How are you tonight?
I am kind of confused.
On what?
Freaking, I've got an issue with I got a new Summit reloading press from RCBS, and I'm trying to bump the shoulders back on auto loading cartridge cases, and normally you want to go about 4 or 5 thousandths to knock it back of an inch, 4 or 5 thousandths of an inch on an AR-15, Mini 14, M14. So you get good feeding of the cartridge casing and the total bullet, cartridge when it's going in and out of the chamber. So you knock the shoulder back, and when you fire the gun, it blows it back forward to the size of your chamber. So you're basically full-length resizing the brass casing. And for some reason, my brand new Summit press is fighting me tooth and nail to get any more than like 3 or 4 thousandths at max. And the technique is you screw the die down until it hits the top of the shell plate. Then you back off the shell plate and you go a quarter to a third turn more down. A third or a quarter of a turn to a third of a turn more in, righty-tighty. And then you bring up your shell plate till it touches the bottom of it and squares it, and you tighten up your lock ring on your die, and you're set up for the full-length sizing die. And I set it up like that, and it doesn't even touch the shoulder at all. I measure the shoulder, and I'm getting 1.760, and basically I do exactly the way you're supposed to set up this press. I even double checked it with the directions, because I've been setting up presses for 6 years. I've had friends had presses for the last 25, 30 years, and everything I do is not letting me bump back this shoulder on this piece of brass. So I'm wondering now if I've got a little bit of an issue with the press itself, but it's a different style press. It's kind of like an upside down. Instead of having a ram come up with the shell, the cartridge case on it, this lowers the actual die down on top of the stationary piece of brass.
That is weird.
Yeah, it does that so that it's like a Dillon Super 1050 or the RL 1100. They do that so that they can keep concentricity without deflection.
Do you still have a lot of adjustment in the die if you wanted to?
Yeah, but I mean, I've cranked it in. I gave it an entire. I went down to hard dead stop where I could not crank it more, holding the ramrod down so that I'm not actually working the piece back up. The ram, the actual handle, the ram handle itself, I'm not working it up. I'm just and I'm tightening it all the way down. I can't get any more out of it. Then I bring it up, the handle, and I give it a third of a turn, run a piece of brass in there, and I'm getting 1.4605. I threw a third of a turn on the thing, pass stop, hard stop, over cam or cam over, engaged, and I am getting the exact same shoulder reading. Now I can take that same piece of brass, pull it out, wipe all the lube off of it, test the shoulder setback. Then I can take it, lube it back up, run it back up in the same die set up on my lead 4-hole turret press, and it knocks it back almost 10 thousandths when I go, a third or a little bit more. So I know the die is capable of actually knocking the shoulder back. For some reason, it's not letting me knock the shoulders back. And when I'm throwing these pieces of brass into my chamber check or my chamber check test gauge, I'm getting the rim of the brass sticking up, which if, it may run in a couple of my high round count rifles, but I've got a couple of match grade chambers and a couple of Wilson combat barrels that if I get a piece of brass stuck in there, you're talking about a $400 barrel. I don't want to be banging that piece of brass out.
Any chance they sent you the wrong one? Is there is the caliber marked on the side of it at all?
Yeah. I've got 3 223 die sets. I've got 2 Lee, and I've got an RCBS.
Oh, okay. So you don't use this. You didn't use a new die as well. You're using existing dies that you're aware of.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Then, crap, dude, it's got to be the press. Then that's just. I'm not saying it wouldn't work going that way, but that's kind of the opposite of the way all presses have worked. Even the machines that manufacture this stuff on mass scale kind of work like that. So, I mean, somebody must have thought it was a good idea, but.
Well, I'm getting less than a half a thousandth run out. I'm sometimes when I'm checking concentricity, I can see just the needle of the gauge. Each slot in my gauge is a thousandths of an inch, and it barely bumps. And I think most of that's probably from my fingers turning the piece of brass on the Sinclair concentricity gauge. And basically, it's perfect. It's just not doing what it's supposed to be doing. And I'm like, I keep advancing the lead die in, and I'm in quite a bit of what do they call cam over, and I'm starting to get results. But I mean, I don't think I should be pushing that hard on the press to be able to just knock back a shoulder on a piece of brass of 223. It's not 4570 that I'm resizing. It's not 458 SOCOM or 50 BMG. It's freaking 223.
Yeah, since I haven't used the press, I'm really not sure.
It's got to duct tape a broom handle to the handle, man.
Give it more torque.
There you go.
More horsepower is needed.
Put a cheater bar on it.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, M. Gabriel was asking if you had a longer shell holder that you could try using with it.
Well, this is the deal with shell holders. You're supposed to use the shell holder manufacturer of the die that you're using, because the dies are set up to be used with the shell holder, because the shell holders vary in depth. Redding are the deepest. Their standard shell holders are the deepest. RCBS are really goofy. You've got to use RCBS shell holders with RCBS dies, or they will not size the bottom of the brass because it holds too much of it in the shell holder.
See, I use them interchangeably. I've never had an issue. Now, I'm not doing down to the nanometer for ultra precision Olympic class shooting, but I've never had a problem with interchanging shell holders and dies in standard presses.
Well, this is a standard press. I'm going to show you. I got an echo. What the hell is that echo coming from? Do we have a hot mic? Or did somebody join in? Yeah.
Yeah, we had somebody join. Pat jumped in.
Yeah. Okay.
I have it set where, because of paying attention to the YouTube chat, I had it set to where it plays a sound if I'm, that way, I know when somebody jumps in so I can let them in.
Yeah, because on StreamYard you can be sitting there for an hour unless somebody calls you or texts you and says, "Hey, somebody's trying to get in. They're backstage." That's the only thing that I have a complaint about it. It should give you a beep or a display, a visual display. Trying to go to my other camera. Where are we at, camera? There we go. What one are we going to? We'll go to this stream cam. Damn. There we go.
Obnoxious says he's literally in Echo's reloading chambering, wondering where the echo came from.
Yeah, everybody laughs. Okay, so I get over here, flip some lights on, and not fall down and bust my ass in the.
Yeah, real quick, while you're doing that, I want to say hi to Pat. How you tonight, Pat?
Oh, not too bad. Long time no see. Been pretty dang busy the last month and a half. So glad to be back on tonight.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, farmers, you get busy, so.
Yeah, finally got all the crops in and just finishing up a little bit of spraying right now and put a brand new camshaft in a pickup and got it running tonight. So had to go hot rod it around a little bit. So.
Well, hello, Obnoxious. There, you feel better now? I said hi to you. Orange man. He gets so sensitive sometimes.
You use anything special for bearing lube?
Yeah, I use the motor plate. Comes in the white. It's the motor assembly number 105 formula
Okay,
with the
cool.
blue cap.
So you use some. Yep. Cool.
I
it
do
always seems to work better.
Yeah, I use that on all my bearings, and then for and on new lifters on the bottom side and to lube the cam up really good. And then I take some a little bit of heavyweight oil and dunk all my lifters and push the plunger up and down about 20 times on each one just to make sure the oil is going to get in and out of the lifters and throw them in. And I've never had any problems doing it that way. So, and make sure I soak my rocker. So yeah, it's running pretty good. I had a problem here about a month ago with my Blazer. Didn't think it was running right, and come to find out, to the Camlos started to round off.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, not good.
You spin in a lot of high RPM or high mileage.
Well, this motor I put together. Well, yeah, high RPM. This motor originally came out of a drag car, 72 Nova with Muncie 4-speed and 411s, and I built it about 15, 16 years ago for a guy. It lived in that drag car for a long time. Then it got put in a buddy's pickup, and then it got pulled. Then he goes, "Hey, you want to buy it?" And I was like, "Yep." And by the time I got a hold of it, the cam was thrashed. So I don't think anybody bothered to set lifters on it.
Right. That's what happens. So you get somebody that wants to be a race car driver, and they got more money than sense a lot of times, and they'll buy cars and they'll just not keep them up. After you run a car in a quarter mile and you're turning 7,000 RPM, sometimes you have to go through the motor and change simple things out. And a lot of people just don't either have the experience, don't want to spend the time doing it because it's aggravating to them and not relaxing. And that's what you get.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, new cam and the heads and the valve springs all checked out good. Oil pressure's still really good, but I did
Good.
put new cam bearings in it because there was a problem with the number 2 journal on back,
Okay.
and I didn't like
Okay,
it.
that's what I was going to ask you about. The actual the cam and cam bearings. How bad was the journal that the cam bearing sat in? Did it scar it real bad?
No, the journals and the actual cam bearings were good, except for number 2. It had a deep groove in it, but I don't think it was just right off the oil hole, and I don't think it was really hurting anything. But I just seen it, and while I was there, I just went ahead and
Probably
not.
had a sharp edge on that oil hole and caught it.
Yep.
And I've seen that happen. That's what happens when you go through a motor sometimes a little bit too quick, and you don't notice those little tiny hot spots when you spin that cam sitting down in there. You know what I'm saying? You look for
Yep.
it touching any little contact points. I used to
Yeah.
rebuild some race car motors and stuff. My uncle owns a BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche sales and repair center in Winter Park, Florida. So I've turned a couple wrenches on a few cars, and he had a 69, still has it, RS SS Camaro. I had a 92 Z28 and a bunch of SVTs and a SVO Cobra 32 valve aluminum block, aluminum heads.
Nice. Yeah, I used to dirt track race. And I used
Yeah,
to be
that's a lot of
track
fun. That is a lot of fun, dude. But the guy I used to work for used to be a professional dirt track racer. I used to drive a wrecker, and the guy I worked for a while when I was getting started, that's what he did. He was pretty good at it too. But racing is like a boat. It's like a swimming pool as well. It's a big hole that you just drop money into.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. I've heard several guys use that exact same analogy.
I'd agree to that myself. And like the harder you play, the more you're gonna pay. That's just a rule of things.
And aggravation, stress, and I mean, it's like when I started just racing, we were just racing, street cars at the drag strip. And, I'm running 11-second quarter miles, nothing, and then less than a year later, we're running alcohol. And, and then, instead of just sitting in the car, turning your air conditioner off to give you another 30 horsepower, you'd be sitting there for a half hour making sure that all your pressure in your lines isn't dropping, so you're not leaking alcohol, and freaking hope it doesn't backfire up through the carburetor and they red flag you right at the start.
Yeah, I've been down that road. But I used to dirt track, and yeah, it was a lot of fun, but kids are more expensive, and that kind of takes the money away.
Yeah, that is very much true. My dad, I go, what happened? I asked my dad, because we weren't real rich when I was growing up. We lived in a nice neighborhood, but we drove older cars. I had a Huffy bicycle where the other kids had, the fancy red lines and mongooses and stuff. And I had a $60 bike, but I liked it. And that's just how I was. And freaking my dad, I go, Dad, why don't we have any hobbies? And he goes, I had a hobby, and he's 17 and his name's David. And I'm like, that's me. He goes, exactly. And he just turned around. He didn't say anything else. I was just like, he's like, and then my mom my mom, when she was alive, she bought him a Rolex watch for Christmas. And my dad was a country boy. He could give a shit if it was a Casio or a Timex. He didn't care. So it was like the biggest waste of money ever. So basically what happened was I got him a little Mercury plastic wind up outboard that said Mercury on it, and he clipped it on his watch band and would wear that to the fire station so the other guys could make fun of him. And it was pretty funny because when you're a middle-aged guy and you're working with a bunch of alpha males at a fire station, they just bust balls all day long. And, he was always looking through the boat magazines and everything, because a lot of firemen, they have boats and stuff. We always went fishing with them and stuff. But it was just funny because, he would be like, there's my boat sitting on my watch right there. Boy, that's a nice boat, isn't it? Catching a lot of fish with that. And I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm like, if you're in shark infested waters, they'll probably come and eat you because of it. The gold shine on your wrist and you get eaten because of it. And I'll thank your mother as I'm being swallowed. I'm just like laughing.
At least you'll know what time it is when you're swimming out to sea and the sharks get you.
Yeah, time of death, 12:51.
We got it right here. The watch stopped.
Yeah. Well, no, those are perpetual, right? I mean, anywhere that shark moves and that watch is going to wind, so that watch is going to keep on going.
Yeah, they are perpetual. Yeah, I've got a Seiko I need to send back. But here's the thing. Maybe one of you guys know. I got this watch from my uncle, and he bought it in the 80s, and it's a really super nice Seiko diving watch, and they don't make them anymore. And I called Seiko, and I just did a search, Seiko watches, and I got the company, and they want me to send it back. But I'm like, how the hell do I even know if I'm really sending them this watch that's like $600? You can't even buy them anymore. To really Seiko, I'm gonna have to because I don't know, it sounded like some shady guy on the phone, and you're like, once you've been ripped off, you're like, man, I don't really want to send this to this guy. Most gun guys, I know who I'm sending.
Do you speak English?
Exactly. I'm like, man, what is going on over here?
Oh,
you gotta send it to Africa. Back out.
Yeah.
Are you sure it was the actual Seiko website? Because they may have a repair center that you would send that into listed on their website. There's certain products where you go on their website and they'll tell you where for your area what return center you send it to.
Is your computer on?
Yeah.
They didn't ask for prepaid cards, did they, as payment?
No, thank God. Could you imagine, dude? Could you freaking imagine? All right, so this Priest was 1.458 was where it was on the on its headspace as far as on the comparator. So let's see what this is gonna do. Damn, that thing.
All right, I don't like this press already.
Look at you.
Yeah, it's backwards. Yeah.
I like the backwards. Hey, is the camera footage clear at least? Or is
if you can tilt down, seeing the bottom of it will be more important to us than seeing the top.
All right, hold on. Let me get you going here. Tell me when.
A little bit more.
I can hear Squibload in his
Just
head.
a little farther.
Right about there. Cheryl Holder.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're good.
I got you locked in there.
There's no adjustment there on the bottom, huh?
No adjustment. It's just the shell holder plate and stand.
Ain't that about a bitch?
But the thing is, this is coming down and hitting that shell holder and stopping right there, and then I'm camming it over quite a bit.
Okay, yeah, then you're down all the way. And you've used more than one type of. Oh no, you're sticking with the RCBS die in the RCBS press.
I gotta this. No, I think this actually. This may be. Let me see.
Not the
Yeah,
shell
this is
holder,
our.
but the die.
This is a Lee die. This is an RCBS shell holder, and this is a. Hold on. This is a Lee shell holder because this one's got a big line around it.
All right.
So
It shouldn't make a difference,
but we're gonna
I was
use.
just wondering if one of them had maybe some sort of insert or something else in there for sizing. The shoulder is at the end of the piece of brass, so I don't know if I've seen some stuff where there's an adjustable. Like there's a threaded stem or something like that. There's something adjustable on the inside, and if you don't have it in there just right, the damn thing will fall right out. And I mean, you're more or less using it like a full length sizing die, right?
Yeah. I have the internal decapping, expanding mandrel out because what I do is when I do my brass like this, I get less than a half a thousandth a run out, and then I take a expanding, free floating expanding mandrel, and I expand this opening to 223.223 thousandths of an inch, and basically that gives me 1,000th of neck tension on a 224 bullet, which is a 22 caliber 223 Remington bullet or 5.56 NATO bullet. And basically I set it in there on top of Varget, 25.6 or 25.2 grains of Varget.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then I use a factory crimp die with a medium heavy crimp. And so to not get bullet offset during firing out of an AR-15. And okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to check to see what this headspace on this shoulder was at 1 point. Hold on. Got it right here. It was at, where in the hell did that damn rag go? My hands are covered in gook. The gookie. What in the?
Well, I'll just throw this out there real quick. When my dad used to reload, I can't remember the name of the press and everything he had. It was red. My brother's got it now. It's all set up in his basement. But when he went to do the cam over on his too, his was always really tight. Right there, it'd come down, it would rest, and the cam over was really hard. But he never had any problems with anything as far as resizing or anything out of that press. It was always hard, no matter what you threw in it.
Right.
So like it was like that.
What Echo's doing, I do on a single stage Lee with the dies out of the 4 die set, the premium die set or whatever, the deluxe die set, and
with the factory crimp it comes with.
Yeah, but I actually yeah, it does. Or do I use Hornady? Oh no, wait, sorry. No, for that caliber, I use a Lee factory crimp, but I use Hornady dies for my 223-556, but I do it on a Lee single stage, and I'm not as precision. So, man, you precision guys are so picky.
Well, here's the problem. I was at 1.459.5, so it was a half a thousandth over. And right now I'm at 1.458 after putting it through there. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Let me try to wiggle this and see if I can get any less headspace. Try to get it the lowest number possible by wiggling the back tail end of it.
Now, for those that just want to make range brass or range ammo, they want to make something that's like your mil spec 62 grain or 55 grain ball ammo for going out and shooting. That will work just fine. It's not this much extra labor, but if you're doing some real precision shooting, there's a reason why you're going to the extra effort, especially for small batches of ammo. And then the powder he was talking about is called Varget. It's a very popular powder. It's really good. It's a rifle powder, and it's really stable at really high and really low temperatures. So if you're out in the desert, it's going to work. If you're hunting all day and you're out in the freezing cold, it will work. I've used Varget in reloads for hunting myself.
Can you see this, Squib?
Yeah,
Can you see?
you got a gauge.
Yeah. Well, you see that sticking up?
Oh, I can't
It's
see
not-
it sticking up at the angle you've got it, but yeah. So when you
tell me-
drop the case down into this gauge, if it doesn't drop in all the way, then you got a problem.
Well, it's dropping all the way in. I'm pushing it up against as far in as I can. And when I turn it out, I don't have to bump it or anything. It's coming out. So it's not sticking in there. But my rim of my lip is sticking up proud.
Yeah, it's not completely seated.
Well, it's as far down in there as it's going to go.
Oh, that one's not beveled, so the whole thing.
Well, one's
No.
got a high side and one's got a low side. It's cut, and it can't be below the low side, and it can't be above the high side. It's just got to be in between the high and low side. It can be level with the high side, but I've got a lip on both sides of it, and I should not have one. I should have one on the low side, but on the high side right here, it should be smooth, flush. And I mean, this probably would work in everything but my damn gun. But the problem is, this is a brand new, almost $300 press. I should be able to knock the shoulder back to where I'm not having this issue. So what we'll do is we'll turn this back out, bring this down.
That's the problem, man. You went out and spent the big money. Should have
Nah,
went to
that
a
ain't-
garage sale, bought an old one, and it would work like a charm.
Well, I'm trying for precision rifle ammo. I've got just in 308 dies alone, $1,000 in reloading dies just for doing 308. And
So now we all know what it's going to take to get Outcast into reloading finally.
okay.
Honda make a die? It said, and fresh.
No, for him to go find a set at a yard sale, which is something that does happen. You know,
Yep.
you can get a 60-year-old
snatch it
press
up
and
if
it'll
I
work
found
just
it right.
fine.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's what my dad did. Mom found something on a garage sale, and she picked it up for a little bit of nothing. He cleaned it up, and hell, it's ran like a charm ever since. I mean, the powder dispenser and the dies for 308 and 270. He wound up getting 22 250 and a couple other calibers, and shit, it's great.
All right, so this is right here. This is one complete turn past. That's some hard cam over right there. That's one turn past dead stop on the shell holder, and this is ridiculous amount of cam over. Let me put a little bit of shit on here before I have another horrible experience of the night, as you guys watch me have to drill a piece of brass out of my die.
That's how it'll go too. Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
You're not alone in that. I screwed up a 22 250 die one time doing that.
My buddy, you guys know Dead Horse. He freaking got this killer deal on a set of dies off of Amazon warehouse. And he's like $13 or $15 for a set of dies. He gets them, and we're on a hangout, just a regular hangout. And he goes, "Look at this shit." And I'm like, "What is it? Has it been dropped or something?" He goes, "No, but they're not. They're definitely used." He pulls open the full length sizing die, and bam, there is a bent decapping pin inside a piece of brass, and the brass is still jammed into the die. then I was like, well, I know what you're going to be doing. So let's see what this did, because it only bumped it back before. We were getting, what was that, 1.458?
Yeah,
And I
when
think,
that happens, like what happened to Dead Horse, there's a collet at the top. You take a wrench and unscrew it. The pin drops out with the piece of brass. You pitch both of them in the scrap metal bin. You go grab a spare pin, run it up in there, line it up just right, and start all over
well,
again.
the whole thing is, once you run that piece of brass up inside that die, yeah, you can take if it's a Lee die, you can loosen up the collet, pull it off the top, and then you have the pin just floating around. But that piece of brass, it doesn't want to come out of that die. You have to, I've got a tool. Basically what I do is, if I get a piece of 308 brass or 458 brass stuck, and I've only done it once, I basically have a tool with a tap, and what I'll do is I'll flip the die upside down in my press and screw it in from the bottom, so that I'm working at where the brass cartridge case is stuck in the die, and then I'll drill a hole straight down through the primer, because the primer's already been knocked out. And basically then I'll tap it, then I'll screw in, I put a cap over it and put a screw into it. And when I screw the screw down, it catches the steel cap and it will pull the piece of brass out of the die.
Yeah, I've got a tool for that too. When the pin is bent and there's nothing I can do with it, I just take the crescent hammer and pop that pin out from the top.
Yes, hit it like you're driving a nail. Yeah, but if you only have one decapping pin and it's 2:30 in the morning and you're trying to load 223 for a match the next day, you better have an extra set of dies, an extra. Okay, look at this. I literally went hard stop against the shell holder. Then I went a complete 360-degree turn, and I only lost 4 thousandths of an inch. Is that, yeah, 4 thousandths of all that it knocked it back.
Yeah, I don't know what's causing that.
Yeah, I don't either. And but let's see if my Lee will knock it back any further. Okay, so we'll see if this brass has got something goofy with it. Okay, I got 1.4555. So that's an easy one. 1455.5. All right, so we'll take it. We'll drop it right into the Lee.
A real press.
My 4-hole, this is what I usually do, 223, 300 blackout on. Everybody laughs because my seeding die costs more than the whole press does.
Yeah, a lot of people like to use this press because it's inexpensive. Outcast.
Put it on
A lot
the
of
list.
people like to use this press because it freaking works. For now you got limitations. You don't want to be reloading 30-06 or 308 Winchester in this press. But if you're doing 223, 300 blackout, if you're doing pistol cartridges, you have no worries. This thing's gonna do everything you need it to do. Now I think doesn't a Squib, don't you have the hell, what's going on here? Don't you have oh, that just fell out of there, but that's okay. Those are all going
Yeah,
through
you knocked
gauges.
it off with the rag.
Yeah. So, don't you have an All-American 8?
I've got a Spar T, which is, I guess, similar in setup.
Oh, yeah. You got the older version of the All-American 8. It's a Spartan.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a great press.
Oh, yeah.
It's obsolete. I talked to the guys at Lyman and asked them if the T-Mag parts are interchangeable, and they said no. But I make it work. It does the job.
Well, here. Put a little pressure on it. Let's see what it's going to push this to.
Notice that this one is going up instead of the opposite, so it's going to work.
Now that you freaking jinxed me.
Just saying, man. Just saying. One of these days, I'm going to get that mess cleared off my other reload bench, and then I can put in a progressive, and then I can be one of the cool kids.
Yeah, I'm getting an RL 1100. I'm just waiting on the one I want to come back into stock. Because all I'm doing on it is 223 Remington.
For people who like to do mag dumps, it sure does make a lot of ammo quick.
Yeah, I don't do mag dumps, but what I do is reload for a lot of my guy friends who hunt, and now that they've got a guy that reloads for them, they've got girlfriends that have got AR-15s that I built for them, and they love to go out and go in the woods and shoot magazine after magazine. I've already put a new barrel on the one girl's gun. She shoots more than most guys I know.
It's America's rifle.
Everything the girls say, they're going, why does Biden want to ban this gun? It's the only gun I've ever shot that doesn't hurt my shoulder. It fits me correctly.
That's why, because you like it. It works.
Okay, I may have gotten a half a thousandth more on the Lee turret. Now, let me try one other thing. Stick it in this gauge. It's better in this gauge, but it's still got that lip. I'm not really too worried about that now because that lip's barely sticking up on the one side. I mean, it might even have a little bit of a warped head on it because some of this stuff's 5.56 and it's been shot out of a carbine length gas system, overgassed, and that will definitely cause a warped head on a case, and that can be causing what I'm seeing as well. But what I'll do here is just for shits and giggles. Okay, turn it down till it stops hard dead. Take it off. Should be marked. Where in the hell is that mark? Blind man. Okay. There is a mark. As the blind man turns, come on. I know you got to turn a quarter. You know what? Screw that. I'm taking this damn lock nut off. Get off of there. I got me where in the hell did I do with it? Got me a brain. My big brain. Got the big brain screwed on. You got the big brain? Oh, as I turn everybody. I'm making people sick. Like, take the Dramamine. Take the Dramamine when you're watching. All right, so this down. That's hard stopped. Mark. It would help if I freaking got the damn die. lined up correctly. All right, now it's lined up. Make a big mark so I can see it. Blind guy. All right. We are going a third of the way in, and we're going to see if we can get anything more knocked down off of that piece of brass in my hand right here. Put a little love juice on it. I'm using like 10 gallons more than I need of this stuff. This is that unique stuff. Do you use this stuff, Squib? Can anybody hear me?
The Hornady.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I have that one or not. I know I haven't used it, but I've got some. I've got several different kinds, but I think I've only used about 3 or 4. That's don't they call it they're unique or something like that?
Yeah, it's unique
lube.
case lube. Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer Imperial sizing wax.
Yeah, this is very similar to that, except that you get a hell of a lot more in a jug than you do in the Imperial sizing wax. I've got both, and the Imperial sizing wax seems to last a little longer, just a little bit. But what I've noticed about this Hornady Unique is it's got mink oil in it as a preservative to keep the what is that shit called? The wax that they use in this lanolin, the lanolin from going rancid. It uses mink oil, and you can literally take a chunk of this stuff and put it in a spray bottle with 99% rubbing alcohol, isopropyl rubbing alcohol, and make yourself some spray lanolin lube like Dillon's for next to nothing, because this whole tube is like $6. Okay, what was I getting before? Was it 1.4545?
I told you precision guys. As long as it's within spec, I don't.
It's a half a thousandth.
When I put down my reload note,
I think 1455.
I put the min reading that I get and the max reading I get, and as long as it falls in between, I'm good.
So I've lost 1.5 thousandths more using the little press. So something's going on. Unless
Sucks though when you get new stuff and it just doesn't work out right sometimes. You end up having to screw with it. I always hate that shit when it happens.
What's the
you always want to?
Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you always want to get your nice stuff, play with it, and have it work, not have to screw with shit. But yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
What's the likelihood that all this brass or the pieces that you've put in there have all been trimmed to shit to this point?
No, this stuff has been picked up for over a year.
I mean, you'd have to stretch it, trim it, stretch it, trim it. It's not like trim it once and it's done. But yeah, I mean, that's the next thing that I have to rule out is that the brass has been
work hardened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not though, because if it was, I wouldn't get, when I'm going into when I go up into these dies, I would get when I'm measuring stuff, I'm measuring the head of the case right above the head of the case at the base. After resizing, I measured the body of the case, and it's holding its resize. It's not springing back, which would tell me it was fired out of a military chamber or a gun that has, full auto chamber that has, gotten really hot and expanded. And now all the brass coming out of it is super expanded. And usually you just throw that brass in the recycle bin. But this stuff is resizing. It's just not knocking the shoulder back. Somehow something is going on with this press that, I mean, it's only like, I should see, here's the thing. It's actually resizing the brass perfectly. Now, I'm getting good enough results with it that it will work. The problem is I should be able to knock the shoulders back up to 12,000th of an inch with any die. By, you know, because that's why they tell you when in the directions when setting a die up that what you do is you crank the die down until it hits the top of the shell holder, and then you tighten it to get it hard stop. Then you lower the ram and you turn it a quarter to a third of a turn, and then you raise the ram back up to square the shell holder with the bottom of the bottom of the die, and then you tighten the lock ring while keeping pressure on the die, and that keeps the die square with the ram. Well, on this press, I have to lower, let me see here. I have to lower the die, and then I have to crank it till it hard stops while holding the ram down so it doesn't come back up. Hard stops, and then they say go a quarter of a turn, which would be I can see that, yeah, to a third. That is a third. Then go down, go into cam over, lock the die down, and that squares it. Now that's normal setting with light over cam, and I don't know what that clicking noise is either. I've been hearing that. You hear that popping noise?
Yeah, it's not good. You just send that to me, man.
Listen to it. All right, so this one here, we got this one down to, where is it? 1455. Okay, 1454. 1454. And when we looked at this one, it was at 14555. So
Yeah,
we only
1455.55.
Yeah, we only knocked 1,500 off of this. We knocked 1,500th off this brass off the shoulder. That's all we did. Okay, so we'll grab some more brass. Since I seem to have an endless amount of mixed head stamp for a while. Got more coming.
Real quick, I gotta interrupt because I gotta shut this down because I gotta get to bed. You guys can continue talking in the after chat,
Yeah.
about this, but yeah, I gotta shut the.
Oh yes,
live
sir.
stream
You got to
down.
get up and go to work tomorrow.
I don't gotta get to work for work, but I got other stuff I gotta do tomorrow. So yeah, I gotta.
Well, Squib was asking for an actual list of what you had to do tomorrow before you were going to be allowed to get off. he wanted to approve it.
Yeah, you got those Marines, man. I'm telling you. Yeah. So, Squib, you got anything you want to say before we get out of here?
No. Thanks for the invite. It's yeah, thanks.
Yeah. But what about you, Rob?
No, just thanks for joining us, and be sure to eat a salad, folks.
You and your salads. All right. What about you, Pat?
Just thanks for having me on. I know it's been a minute since I've been on, but like I said, pretty busy. But other than that, yeah, I will counter Rob and say, eat more beef.
Well, now the two of you can get together and compromise and do a steak salad and put some fries on there and stuff.
I don't do green stuff, period. No way.
You're no fun. What about you, Echo? Anything you want to say before we shut this down?
No, but thank you for the invite. And if you guys want to know what's going on with this press, come over to my channel. I'll be keeping everybody updated on what's going on and what I've found out and what I have figured out what I'm going to do. And everyone have a very nice week at work. If you are employed still after the COVID thingy.
Yeah, that's for sure. Lots of people have lost their job because of that. And remember, folks, today is D-Day, so remember all the guys that didn't make it off those beaches, Utah and Gold, and let's keep those people in your thoughts because they stopped the great evil from taking over. So keep that in mind. And with that in mind, we will catch you next week. Have a good week, and let's just get your little phrases out there, people. Come on.
I already
Stay
said
safe.
it. Eat a salad.
Eat more beef.
All right. Bye, folks.